Hey everybody, Benjamin Keck with Keck Legal. Today I want to touch on a topic that seems to be coming up more and more lately with my small business clients in need of Chapter 11 restructuring and reorganization, and that is insurance. And the insurance market recently, right now we're in February of 2025, and things have gotten crazier in terms of, I don't know if it's climate change or what have you, but we're seeing a lot of hurricanes and wildfires and issues where there's a real shakeup in the insurance market, and it's getting very, very difficult where people are getting canceled, their rates are increasing. And one thing I want to make sure that my small business owners are keeping in mind is that you got to have insurance. It's absolutely critical, particularly when you get into financial trouble and you have to make tough decisions about what to pay and when. First of all, if you're in that situation, you should absolutely reach out to a restructuring attorney immediately. The vast majority of my clients wait way too long before reaching out. Waiting is at your own peril. Definitely want to reach out to an attorney right away as soon as you're feeling like you're in potential financial trouble. But insurance is particularly an issue because if we need to file Chapter 11, you got to have insurance in place because that's what protects your assets if anything were to happen, of course, right? So when we file Chapter 11, the idea is we're getting protection, Chapter 11 protection. The court is saying creditors need to leave you alone and give you a little time to work through this so we can come up with a plan of reorganization and figure out how we're going to right the ship. But in exchange for that, creditors are entitled to some protection too. So it's very important to the court that we have certain things in place so that creditors aren't harmed by having to wait to see how the Chapter 11 case plays out. And one of the biggest things that we need to have in place to assure that is insurance. Of course, you got to understand if you've got, let's say, vehicles out on the road that are uninsured and you've got a creditor that would love to repossess that vehicle, but they're not allowed to because we're in Chapter 11, well, at a bare minimum, the court's going to require that we have insurance in place so that if, God forbid, something crazy were to happen and the vehicle's totaled, that creditor is not just completely out of the money. Obviously, that would be bad for us too, so it's really protection for everybody. And that's just one example, but general liability insurance, right? Somebody slips and falls in your parking lot, you want to make sure you've got insurance to cover that. Otherwise, we've got this potential huge new debt that came in that was unexpected and uncovered that could really just turn things upside down and harm other creditors as well as your company and our entire ability to reorganize. So if you don't have insurance in place, your Chapter 11 case will be getting dismissed. That is a very hard and fast rule in most courts where the United States trustee who oversees bankruptcy cases, that's always one of the first things they want to know is, do you have insurance on all of your assets? And they want to see the proof of insurance, and they want to get notifications if the insurance gets canceled. And I've had several cases recently where the client, they maybe didn't make the payments or got non-renewed and the insurance got canceled. That is a major, major problem that needs to be addressed. So if you are in financial difficulties with your business, paying that insurance needs to be a very, very high priority, because if that insurance lapses, and by the way, it can take months to find a new insurance policy, and sometimes it's going to be unaffordable, and it may be very, very difficult to get insurance back in place, and you may lose the ability to reorganize under Chapter 11 if you can't get insurance and don't have insurance in place, which means it may be that your only option is to close your company down. So, not to be alarmist, but insurance is very important. Do not allow your insurance to be canceled. Otherwise, it could mean the end of your business, which is obviously not good. Again, Benjamin Keck, Keck Legal. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Here's our contact information. Thank you.